Absolutely. Here's the modified article in the style of a passionate, long-form speech exceeding 50 paragraphs, capturing the awe, admiration, and behind-the-scenes presence of John Cena as described by Omos. When the lights dim and the curtain falls, when the fans go home and the cameras stop rolling, that's when you really find out what a man is made of. And in that quiet space behind the chaos, behind the pyrotechnics and larger-than-life personas, stands one man whose presence still echoes across every locker room, every arena, and every performance center mat: John Cena. Omos, the Nigerian giant, stood tall not just in height, but in reverence when he recalled his experiences with the legend. He didn't speak like someone casually sharing a memory. No, he spoke like a disciple remembering the moment he met a master. A mentor, a symbol of what professionalism should be. And who else but John Cena? A man with accolades too vast to count. A 17-time world champion. A box office phenomenon. A face of the WWE for an entire generation. Yet still, he walks through those doors at the Performance Center, not with security, not with pomp, but with humility. Omos didn't need to hype it up. His tone was enough. He told a story of how Cena, despite his packed schedule, his obligations in Hollywood, and his farewell tour commitments, still finds time to give back. To show up. To lift others. It was not a scheduled seminar. There was no camera crew. No PR stunt. Cena wasn't there for himself. He wasn't there to be seen. He was there to serve. Imagine this: a room filled with hungry talent, eager for knowledge, hoping for a break, waiting for guidance. And then walks in the man they all grew up watching. The man who never gave up. The man who defined hustle, loyalty, and respect. And what does he do? Does he give a speech and walk out? No. He stays. He sits. He listens. One by one, he talks to everyone who needs it. There's no timer on his presence. No clock he's watching. Cena listens with intention, with purpose. Omos made it crystal clear: this was not a favor. This was not a courtesy. This was John Cena being John Cena. Because this is what leadership looks like. Cena doesn't demand respect. He earns it, every single time. Not through his titles, but through his time. Not through his promos, but through his presence. The Nigerian giant, himself an imposing force, found humility in Cena's actions. And isn't that the paradox of greatness? That those who carry the heaviest legacies often walk the lightest. Omos saw in Cena not just a legend, but an ultimate professional. A man who, despite being idolized, never placed himself above others. A man who, instead of sitting in some backstage lounge or riding out his final tour in comfort, is still in the trenches, guiding the next generation. He spoke of Cena's approachability. How even with his status, he was never out of reach. That anyone, rookie or veteran, could walk up and have a real conversation. No filters. No egos. Just truth. This is how icons are remembered. Not just by their entrance music or WrestleMania moments, but by what they leave behind in others. John Cena's farewell tour may mark the end of his in-ring story, but stories like this, they live on. They get passed down in locker rooms. Shared in hushed tones at catering tables. Whispered in awe by young hopefuls who just want a chance to make it. Because for every championship he's won, perhaps his greatest title is this: mentor. The respect Omos showed wasn't manufactured. It wasn't part of a promo. It was real. It was earned. Because Cena showed up, not to be honored, but to honor others with his time. And this is what makes Cena more than just a wrestler. This is what makes him an institution. Omos remembered his first meeting with the legend, not as a fanboy moment, but as a defining checkpoint in his journey. He didn't walk away with an autograph. He walked away with a lesson. A conversation. A moment of clarity. And those moments, they shaped careers. Because Cena doesn't hand out advice. He plants seeds. And in the minds of those willing to learn, those seeds bloom into legacy. Omos didn't just describe a moment. He painted a picture of what leadership looks like when no one is watching. Cena's authenticity is his armor. His humility is his superpower. And as he winds down his career, moments like these show that he's not fading into the shadows. He's casting a light so others can find their way. This is what makes him immortal, not just in WWE history, but in the hearts of everyone he's lifted. Omos saw a role model, not just a wrestling hero. He saw someone who understood that true greatness isn't in the spotlight, but in how you use it to brighten others. In a business built on characters, Cena remains profoundly human. He takes nothing for granted. Not the ring, not the fans, not the future. He understands that giving back isn't a chore, it's a calling. So as the world counts down the final appearances of John Cena, the truth is this: he'll never truly leave. Because every superstar he's mentored carries a piece of his wisdom. Every word he spoke in those one-on-one sessions now lives in the matches, promos, and journeys of the next generation. Omos didn't just speak about John Cena. He honored him. He testified to the truth behind the curtain, to the man behind the merchandise. And in doing so, he reminded the world that even giants look up to greatness. John Cena, the ultimate professional, isn't just finishing a career. He's cementing a legacy that will echo in the Performance Center halls long after the final bell. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. And Cena, he's earned it more than most. If you'd like a viral YouTube title, description, tags, and hashtags for this too, just let me know.